Coach, we've asked you a lot about Nate, and obviously high praise for him. He's made mention a few times that he's really dug in off the ice, this season. Pay attention to his training, the way he's taking care of himself. Do you notice a difference in what he's doing right now away from the ice? Because it seems like he's on another level.
Yeah, I'd say yes. Yeah. And here's the thing. He's always been the most dedicated guy off the ice since I've been here. But this year it started last year, I'd say. He's carried it through the summer. But what he's doing this year, he's really consistent with it. And again, I'm talking going from great to elite habits, or elite to like super elite habits off the ice. But he's found something with his desire to get better and his, just his drive and his education of his off-ice training. He's always looking for the edge, right? And he's found what clearly is working for him. Because, he just doesn't have many nights where he doesn't have his legs or energy. And if it is, it's probably my fault for playing him too much the night before or what have you, right? So he's found a way to making sure that his body's recovering and that he's at his best every single night. And that is shown on the ice.
The home point streak, the 2 4-goal games of just over a month, natural hat trick. Does anything he does on the ice at this point genuinely surprise you or shock you? What would it take for him to actually shock you at this point?
He couldn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, that's just where he's at. I mean, you just look at what he does on a nightly basis. It's like, so he can't, I mean, I can't just, you keep asking me, but I just don't have anything really to say. What am I going to say?
Are there any specific super elite habits he has?
Any specific ones?
Yeah,
everything.
Examples?
Everything he does. Everything he does, like the way he, it starts with all of his off-ice stuff. It's relentless, it's consistent, it's dialed in to the point that he's gonna do it. Like for example, most teams are on the road, we're moving cities, we get done a game, and most teams are on the plane or on the bus in 20 minutes, and they're on the plane within an hour flying to wherever they're going. And they get in early. We get in late. But we're not going to change it because Nate has a routine after the game that he does at home, on the road. It doesn't matter because that's what makes him ready for the next game. So it's hard as a coach and even as his teammates. Some guys have followed suit and they're doing it. He's pushing other guys to do it, which makes us better. And as a coach, you just go along with it, I sit on my computer and work for an hour after the game before we get on the bus, And instead of getting in at 1, we get in at 2. But it's, it works for him, and he's the one leading us. So whatever works for him, I say it all the time. It's about the players because they're the guys that have to go out and play the game. And so is there any elite habits? I'd say yeah. Every single habit that he has is elite.
You said you're not surprised by what he's been doing. Nothing he does can surprise you. But what is it like to watch him do what he's been doing? Not just tonight, but this stretch, this season.
Yeah, it's special. But I've always had a high appreciation for what Nate does. The 22 playoffs for me, it's just it's hard to beat that because that was the maturity in his game, the leadership in his game to just, I talked about it on the radio this morning, you could tell his focus wasn't on anything, individual. It was completely unselfish. It was, if you need me to play against McDavid, as long as they don't score, the rest of our team can hopefully outplay some other lines and we can get victories. It didn't matter, and he was open about it and he was willing to do whatever we asked him to do. So then it was just up to our staff to decide, how does this work? If you remember, we flipped wingers a lot and he played with different guys. He had different matchups, a lot of heavy lifting on D-zone starts, and it didn't matter what the ice time was. He was going to be prepared to make sure we won, and we did, you know. So that my appreciation level for him, just not as an individual player, but as a leader of our team, that it skyrocketed then. And really, I was worried last year at the start of the year about, you know, how are all of our top guys and returning players going to come out this season? Are we going to be complacent? Well, they all had career years, you know, and Nate was one of them. And then now this year, it's just like they're taking it to a whole nother level, those guys, and especially Nate. So, I mean, my appreciation just keeps going up, but it's at some point, I guess it's got to cap out. But I wouldn't bet against it.
Is he as ho-hum about this stuff with you guys as he is with us? Because we ask him about, you know, joining Sack's company, 4 goals, and he's just kind of like, yeah, you know, whatever. Like, how's he reacting?
Another thing that I like about him, so yes, but the reason I really like his mentality of it is because I think, like, deep down, all the true competitors have it. Like, it's not about what he's done or what he had done 2 years ago or last year or even this year to this point. It's not what it's about. It's about trying to win again, right? Like, so the focus is on the end game, but he's really dialed into the process of what he thinks is going to lead us to success, right? From everything. He'll challenge the coaches, other players, and it's great. I find it to be exactly what I like too, because he'll push me. He'll push our staff, other players, everyone around him. He'll challenge you and then you make sure you know exactly what you're talking about and what you're doing, and the details are tight because he expects them to be because of what he's giving to the team, right? If he's going to do all this stuff in order for our team to have success, he expects everyone else around him to do the same. And I would guess that the most frustrating thing for him is if he sees someone that's not committed or not going on a certain night or not consistent or my stuff's not in order or whatever it is, it's basically unacceptable, which is exactly the way I would like it. And all the real true competitors that are dialed into winning, that's the way you want it.
Nate and Mikko's synergy was really on point tonight. Have you seen it that connected so far this season?
Yes. I mean, I specifically which game, I don't know, but they've been good together for a long time. But it's just like, you know, it's been consistently good this year. Yeah.
Got MacKinnon back tonight. Did he
Yeah.
look like the MacKinnon that you come to expect? And I guess too, did you sense Johansson got a boost from having him on his line?
Yeah, I like that line tonight. I think that was a great first game from Lucky. Involved physically, that. I mean, I've seen Lucky play better, but for me, first game back, a couple months out, I thought that was a great game. Really responsible again on the checking side of it. New line mates, did power play, penalty kill, involved in all areas of the game. And he was a hard player. You know, he played with the grit and determination that we're used to, and it's only going to get better from here.
When did that change? The stuff you talked about with the landing at 2 a.m. instead of 1 a.m.? I'm sure that wasn't the way it was his rookie year. Like, when did that?
Yeah, no, I don't know, but it's been that way for a while. Like we're the slowest team in the league to move on.
By far.
But the reality of it is it's not because guys are just dilly-dallying around the locker room. You know, it's purposeful, so it's good. Yeah.
Coach, the last 40 minutes were really strong effort for your group. But Nate even talked about a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
It seemed like Georgie maybe had one of his better periods that he's had in a while.
I loved his game tonight. Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. He just looks square and sharp. Less rebounds than we've seen. Noticed some games here recently. Pretty aggressive, challenging. Definite slow start. I had it like 7-8 minutes. I was looking at it going, okay, let's go. And by the second TV timeout, we were at 12 something. And I was already starting to like the way our game was starting to come. So I kind of felt like, 3 days off, you want to have a ton of jump, and I think we got there. But our team, it's like 3 days off is a lot, So without playing a game, we get used to playing, and it's easier to kind of jump into games. But I really felt like our intentions were right, and we did get there, and it was sometime later in the first period.
Last ones, please.
This morning you talked about your facing criticism around going to the All-Star game. Has tuning out outside noise been a point of emphasis with him this year? Has it had any influence over some of his starts? And is that something that UC Parklow works with him on?
Yeah, I mean, they talk about everything. The mental approach to the game, you know, details of his game, where when we have breakdowns, you know, how is he handling it? But I think for every player in this league, especially when it comes to hockey, you're going to get praise at times, you're going to get criticism at times. It's just part of the landscape, and you have to be able to tune it out. Now, sometimes it's warranted, other times it's not. Sometimes there's a delay on your praise and a delay on your criticism. We've talked about that before, but I think deep down, I think as a player, coach, anyone involved, you have to consistently look in the mirror and just you have to be a good self-evaluator of your game, right? It can't just be because you're getting results that you're playing great, and it can't be if you're not getting results that you're playing poorly. You have to understand what you need to do to have success, and you have to implement those things and have that process for yourself, right? And I think he's been searching a little bit at times this year, I'd say, but he's done a nice job of just fighting through it and trying to narrow his focus onto what he needs to do. I think that's a priority for not just him, but for all of our guys. You want to be involved in the whole team aspect, but you have to first dial in what you're doing on a consistent basis before you can worry about too many other things.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.